Incoming right there.
All right, hey guys, welcome to this week's Tactical Tuesday live stream. This is the part where I'm going to ask you guys if you guys can hear me okay. We had some issues with sound last week. We had a bit of an echo. So anyways, let me know, or can you guys hear me okay? All right, that would be an awesome start to our live stream. All right, so give me a yell, let me know. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. If this is your first time joining our Tactical Tuesday live streams, one, welcome. All right, but I ask everybody to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We've got over 700,000 subscribers on Tactical Rifleman. But they're saying echo, 5x5, loads the echo effect. Echo, you guys got to echo again. How about that? You guys still have an echo? Echo, but hear fine. Echo, can hear you fine, but still have a bit of echo. What about now? Can you guys hear me okay now? Some echo, but tain't bad. Tiny echo. Echo, but not as bad as last time. How about now? All right. I just better now. Okay. My son comes and turns all this live stream stuff on. He's like, it's fine. And then he leaves. And we don't do any tests or nothing. So I trust my son. And this is 2 weeks in a row I've had issues with the sound. That's okay. It will reflect on his end of month counseling statement. That's some good coffee right there. That is some good coffee. I made a big cup. I told my wife I'll kill the live stream when I'm done my cup. So I made a big cup. We're going to hang out with you guys tonight. We're going to do some question and answer stuff. I got a new sponsor tonight right here, Tuckit. All right. If you're not familiar with Tuckit, Tuckit's good stuff, guys. Tuckit makes, it's foldablekayaks.com. But the cool part is, picture the price and portability of an inflatable kayak, but you still got the affordability and portability of a hard shell kayak. All right. Performance, durability, all that. So basically I was like, well, how the hell does this shit work? Well, they sent me one. I'm still testing it out. You guys are going to get your video on it. But anyways, picture, you remember the old roll-up sleds that we'd slide down the hills in the snow when we were kids. Picture that kind of hard shell plastic sheet, and then it's got buckles and snaps and stuff, braces in all the right places. But the thing that I thought was cool was, and the paddles collapse down also, but you can roll this thing up and you can stick it in your trunk, you can stick it up on your roof rack, and the weather's not going to tear it up. It's not like an inflatable kayak, and I've got inflatable kayaks also. Inflatable kayaks are awesome, but they're basically a contingency thing, a one-time thing. So you come up on the Mississippi River and the bridge is out. You got to get home. It's that post-apocalyptic scenario. Okay, you ditch the vehicle, inflatable kayak across the river, but understand you hit one branch, it's basically out of play. Okay, so this thing is tougher. It's how's it going to play? Awesome. It's going to play. So anyways, if you're interested in adding that extra flexibility to your bug out vehicle, so they're running a deal. It's 24. If you go to the website right now, it's 24% off a single kayak. You get the free paddle with it. But if you buy 2 kayaks, $650. These things are not cheap, but they're not cheap quality either. But $650, 2 kayaks plus 2 free paddles. So anyways, it's pretty cool. If you're interested, check it out at foldupkayaks.com. Kind of cool stuff. So anyways, I appreciate them sponsoring tonight. We got our usual moderators here. I got Super Chat turned on. So if you guys want, let's say you have a question and you want to make a small donation to the preservation of Carl Erickson Foundation, you just click down there. You can go, you can go $2. You can go up to hell. I've had guys do $200 super chat. Yeah, but again, you don't have to. If you've got a legitimate question, just put it in the chat room. I ain't got time to read the chat room because sometimes I watch the chat and I got guys like Jerry J in there talking about how to make improvised explosives and stuff. And I'm like, nah, let's not do that. All right. So, anyway, so I have moderators. I have Susan, Donut, and JT here right now. They're going to keep you guys in line, but also if you have a legitimate question, they will text it to me. So I see we got Karen here. Karen, that's awesome. Mickey just reserved campsites for our East Coast run. Late May, we are going jeeping the Tactical Rifleman Overland team because they canceled the Overland Challenge for late May. We're still going to keep that time on the calendar. We're gonna go out. We're gonna do some jeeping. I'm bringing my wife this time. We'll see how that works out. She doesn't like the big hills and the rocks and being this close to dying. She's just not. She's not in the whole dying thing. I don't know. I don't know. But I hope she comes. We're gonna have us a great time. Great time indeed. So anyways, I want to give a shout out. Thanks to my moderators out there. And yeah, indeed. Well, somebody else I want to give a thank you to is I got a box in the mail. I love boxes because it's like Christmas every day at my place. A lot of times it's optics that people have sent me to test out. But a lot of other times it's optics that I have bought with my own money because you guys trust me to give a unbiased opinion. So yeah, and then like I've got 2 whole bookshelves of optics I'm supposed to be testing. If I don't like something, you can't. I can't be paid to lie. So, anyways, but I get a lot of boxes. I got a box a while back with a kayak in it. Good stuff. But anyways, I get a box and it's got coffee beans in it. I love my coffee beans. Anyways, it's from David Bobine. David's good people. We see him in the chat room here tonight. David, if you're here, I know you don't want me to read your card, and that's pretty well why I'm going to read your card. Carl, I hope all is well with you and your family up on the hill. Enclosed is a small local coffee. I can't read his handwritings. He must be in the medical field. Coffee, roast beans to and a West Point football hat. Football hat from the Army-Navy game. Okay, cool. I like that it's got the SF crossed arrows on the back. I thought that's kind of cool. It's got the little West Point logo and U.S. on the front. I'm sure if their hat was red, you wouldn't be allowed to wear it in America. But that's a nice conservative hat right there. I like it. David goes on. And he said, thanks for what you do. I know sometimes you feel overwhelmed and want to quit this whole TR Nation idea. Don't. You are helpful to others. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment to better this world and others. All the best, David. David, I just want to say one thing for coffee beans. I love my coffee. Love my coffee. I gave up oxygen a couple years ago, and now I just do coffee. Thank you for the hat. I'm not a hat guy. I wear the hat basically so I can get my logo in it, guys. I've always had. I mean, I'm not bald yet, but you guys are used to seeing me with the TR hat on. But I'm really not a hat guy. So David, I will find somebody that will really appreciate this West Pointer hat. And matter of fact, I got a bunch of SF friends, officers that were West Pointers. Maybe I'll hook one of them up with it. Yeah, I think I will. The important part, though, is yeah, guys, I've had a couple shitty months. I really had back-to-back shitty months, and holidays right in the middle. Um, so just getting words of encouragement from David in writing. He actually wrote it out with a pen, not just an email or a text. Hey, Carl, thanks for what you do. And the support of all my patrons on Patreon. Um, yeah, get just random messages in the message section that, where people just reach out and say, hey, Carl, I can see you're down. Keep pushing, keep fighting a good fight. And it's not so much just me. Sometimes even when I'm having a good day, I see that my wife is not having a good day, and a lot of it is because I'm spending so much time doing a lot of this stuff. So, anyways, David, thank you for the kind words. I really do appreciate little notes like this, and I get them from time to time. I do, and it really makes my day, makes my week. So, David, thank you so much. All right, we've had our first question come in. This one's a super chat, actually. All right, Rifleman threw down 10 bones. Carl, during your deployments, were there any foreign weapons with which you were impressed? And did you ever use foreign weapons in action? Foreign weapons that we were impressed with. Not really. I mean, we had foreign weapons all around us. Sometimes when I'd be in, I'd say civilian clothes, but sometimes when I was in my man dress, I'd have my body armor on, and then I had a man dress with 1/4 inch Velcro ran down the front. My little keffiyeh wrapped up around my head, my Tom Selleck porn stash. And every once in a while I would run, there's this little old Beretta subgun, 9mm subgun. It looked a lot like our M3 grease gun. I apologize, I don't remember the nomenclature. Piece of junk, but it reliably shot. And it was not uncommon to see people walking around with AKs and stuff like that. So I would have that within reach in my little Bedouin pickup truck, and my SR-25 was down with my helmet. If we got into a running gunfight, whoever the driver was, they would take the helmet and they would sit it on his head so he could keep driving. The seat, the leather seat or vinyl, whatever it was, we had extra body armor panels set in the seat. His car door had body armor panels in it. The passenger door did. But for the most part, guys just had their concealable body armor on under their man dresses. We had PK machine guns. We didn't really use them because we had no shortage of 240 machine guns. I had enough 240s to put 3 on every gun truck that I had. I had 3 gun trucks, so I had 9 240 machine guns for 12 guys. All right. I'm big with my Barrett 50 cal. There's really, I used to like the RPGs, and then we got the Carl Gustavs. Carl Gustav is 10 times better than any RPG ever. You can take your best RPG gunner you've ever met, that he can hit things out at distance, the best one you've ever met, the best RPG gunner in your entire unit. And I can take any Marine or Ranger that's ever fired a Carl Gustav, and he's going to be more accurate with it. It's that accurate of a weapon. It's flexible to illume rounds, all beehive rounds, all kinds of fun stuff. Foreign weapons, now SVD, piece of junk. There were some anti-tank hand grenades that had little shape charges on it. It was like a stick grenade, like the old World War II German stick grenades. And when you threw it, a streamer would come off of the handle, and that kind of made that shape charge point the way it was thrown. They weren't very effective, but I kind of liked the concept. But again, I never used them in combat, never did. No, honest, we've got the best stuff, and that's why we pay to have the best stuff. So, it is what it is. Good question, though. All right, and that's why we do these live streams. It's for me to share with you guys new stuff we got coming up, but also for me to take your questions. James Whittaker, hey Carl, what was the trigger that prompted you to make us capable citizens in your retirement? Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to the Gunrunner pistol course. So I was getting ready to retire. And my plan was, I had a lot of friends that were retiring. They were going to go be a contractor. Blackwater, Triple Canopy, DynCorp, Aegis, VXL. There are lots of companies hiring retired special ops guys. You get out, you make $1,000 a day. The plan was 1 month on, 3 months off, 1 month on, 3 months off. Some guys do longer, but that's you're only being gone 4 months a year. And you're still making 120 grand a year. Some guys would go 3 months on, 1 month off, and then they could quickly pay off their house and then grow old, retire, and die. Get a bass boat and just fish. And that was the plan. Pay off my house and then grow old and die. And my best friend, Casey Belts, lives out in Wichita, Kansas. He's told me, he's like, Carl, that's awful selfish of you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm taking care of my family. I'm going to pay off my house. He said, yeah, but you got all these young Green Berets coming in. The country's still at war. You've got all this experience, and you're not gonna train them. You're gonna make them learn from their own mistakes. And that kind of stuck with me. So I went home and I told the wife, I'm like, honey, instead of going to be a contractor overseas, I think I'm going to go be an instructor at one of the big training camps here stateside. And she's like, that's awesome, because I don't want you deploying anymore. Okay, cool. So I took a job down in Memphis. It's called Tier 1 Group. Tier 1 Group, great training facility. It's got 2 360 live fire shoot houses, on-road, off-road driving, Afghan village, survey drop zone, 9 classrooms, Rogers Range, just tons. It's great training. 777 acres of just Disney World for guys. And I loved working there because, like, my old unit would come train there as part of their pre-deployment. So I was still able to interact with my old unit. But I also still got to work with, like, the Dutch Delta Force, the German SEALs. That was one of the last breaching classes I taught. Explosive breaching was to the German SEALs there. So anyways, I became the director of special projects. And they're wanting to grow the company, wanting to make more money. I'm like, you're not going to get that many more countries to come train. You're not going to get that many more military units. Conventional military law enforcement can't afford to train there. We need to start training civilians, medical classes, tactical driving, shooting. There's so much stuff that civilians need to learn. And they're like, okay, well, put it together. So I started planning out classes, but all they were doing was just giving me lip service, right? And the reason why I was passionate about it was my job as a Green Beret. If you guys are not familiar what Green Berets do, we're not just, I know all the pictures, you see me as an assaulter or I'm in full kit. I look like I'm a Delta operator. I'm not a Delta operator. I'm not. But basically, your job as a Green Beret, think the French Resistance in World War II. The job, unconventional warfare. And SF units have basically 5 missions. But the first one, first and foremost, will always be unconventional warfare. Then you have hostage rescue, direct action. You've got strategic reconnaissance. You've got other stuff you've got to do. But primarily, unconventional warfare. And the concept is you could parachute an A-team in behind enemy lines in some other nation, say the French, behind enemy lines, World War II in France. They could gather up the locals, vet them, win them over, train them, and then lead them on combat ops in the enemy's rear. And then not only are you doing sabotage and hurting the enemy, but now the big part is you're pulling forces off the front lines that our conventional units have to deal with. And but now I'm a FAG. I'm a former action guy here in the States, but I've seen the battle plans that if we ever, and heaven forbid, and I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last 20 years that none of you guys thought you were going to see soon. But let's say we had troops actually attack the U.S. Foreign countries rallied an alliance among multiple countries, and then they decided to put boots on the ground here in the U.S. Now, everybody said, "Oh well, they could never do it." They back in World War II, the Japanese didn't come because behind every blade of grass is an American with a gun, and back then there was. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot more guns owned in the U.S. now, but there's not 1/3 as many people that know how to use those guns, because back then everybody had to hunt, everybody did this, everybody did that. Nobody hunts anymore. Nobody is not that many people go in the military anymore. So anyways, heaven forbid if we ever had to defend the U.S., the plans are to again drop special forces A teams in across the U.S., link up with local law enforcement units, National Guard units that couldn't move to wherever. And basically think of all the vets that are across the U.S. Okay, that's a start. But think of, wouldn't it be so awesome, Master Sergeant Carl Erickson, if your team got parachuted in and the first gas station you go to check in with after you bury your parachutes, they're like, yeah, man, I got the local rod and gun club. I've got, we got 3 vets, but dude, I've got a bunch of guys. We've been taking classes with Warrior Poet and all these other guys, and we're switched on. Wouldn't that be just awesome for Master Sergeant Erickson? Because I don't have to start with the basics anymore. I can immediately go into tactics and things like that. So Tier 1 group basically said, look, we're not training. We've changed our minds. We're not going to train civilians. That's not our business model. And they started doing some other shady things. Anyways, I chose to basically separate. It's a great company. It's definitely a great facility. It's just God laid it on my heart that I needed to be somewhere else. And basically, if they didn't want to train civilians, I wanted to do it. So I came home, I told my wife, I'm like, look, honey, I don't know how we're going to do through it short term, but I'm going to resign. I'm going to take $120K a year pay cut. I want that to sink in because that's a hard pill to swallow. But then I'm going to start teaching classes and hopefully I can build. And my wife was like, but fine, don't worry about it. We'll make it. Your blood pressure is going to come down. You're mad all the time. You're pissed off at your boss. I'm completely fine. Whatever you want to do, it's going to be awesome. Okay. And I love that my wife supports me on everything I do, and I try to support her also. So anyways, I started Tactical Rifleman with the concept of not this. Hey man, I'm gonna be able to make tons of money, pay off my house, grow old, and die. I'm not Mike Glover. I'm not Warrior Poet. I'm not Garand Thumb. I'm not good at making the money part of this, but I am passionate about let's make the world a better place. I don't have that much longer here. I got 15 years left. I'm 55 years old, guys. Most of the joints in my body are like 90 years old. I'm trying to get one of my knees replaced this June, and then I'm sure we'll move on to the next joint after that. But my whole point for saying it is I love that you guys support me because it is hard sometimes doing this. I'm not looking for a pity party at all. Just I have had it laid on my heart that I could stay at home and just shoot in the backyard, hang out with my bees in my garden, or I've always enjoyed teaching as a Green Beret, and if I'm making a difference, I have had people come back to us after medical classes and say, "Hey, Carl, I came up on a car wreck and I was able to do this because of your medical class. I came out of the locker room at the swimming pool and I was able to resuscitate a 2-year-old that had fallen in the pool because of what I learned in your medical class. I've had this happen and I was able to do this. I had this." And it's always awesome. It is always awesome to get feedback like that. So yeah, me, Z Durham, me and Z, we hooked up. I guess a year or so after I got out of Tier 1 group. Z had just retired. He was when I was getting ready to retire my old unit. I retired as Company Sergeant Major. Don't hold it against me. I hate Sergeant Majors as much as y'all do. But at that time, Z was one of my assault cell leaders. And then I went to work for Tier 1 group. Z was down there now as a team sergeant, a operational detachment alpha master sergeant. So Z was working his way up through the company. He got out as a team sergeant. Z's awesome, and me and him enjoyed training, teaching together, doing tactical rifleman videos together. And the whole starting the YouTube thing was come train with us. All right. But then it became, well, not everybody can come take classes. I understand. We've got people all over the world watching. Some people can't afford to train. Okay. So now it started off from just short videos. Hey, if you want to learn more about this, come take our class. That's kind of how we started. But now it's grown into, a lot of our videos are over an hour long because we try to do that whole teaching point, if that makes any sense to you guys. But it also became, don't just train with me, Carl Erickson, come train with Donnie Bone, come train with Z Durham, come train with Randy Worst. When I first met Randy didn't even have a website. He still doesn't. He didn't. He has a school, worst case scenario survival school. He had a PDF, basically a sheet of paper on digits on the website of a shooting range at Rockcastle. That was it. And he wondered why none of his classes filled. Nobody knew who Randy Worst was. So now the internet knows who Randy is. Same thing, everybody knows who Instructor Z is, Z Durham. Z's awesome. And the cool part was Z's a success story. Z has grown to the point where he's like, Carl, doing all these, I keep adding more and more of my own classes to the calendar. You got all the TR classes. I'm too busy. I want to work with my wife. I'm going to just not do classes with anybody. I'm just doing my own and a couple with S12. I'm like, Z, you're a success story, of course. So Z still comes back with us every once in a while. But guys, if Z is still very much part of the TR team. Z is awesome. And I am so proud that Z has grown up and graduated to where, he's able to do all this stuff. Still working on Randy. But guys, you understand, Randy turns 70 years old next Tuesday, Valentine's Day. He turns 70 next Tuesday. So, Randy's probably not going to get his own website. He's not. Speaking of next Tuesday, though, I was like, well, let's throw a party for Randy Worst, right? Not this live stream, right? Not today. What do you say next Tuesday, the 14th of February, let's take Randy out. Let's take him out. Where do you want to take him? So me and Steve Holland started hinting around, and we actually asked John Rich. And next Tuesday, next Tactical Tuesday live stream. We're still going to do it right here, same time, same channel on TR Live. But instead of it being here in my office, we are going to film it at the Redneck Riviera bar, John Rich's bar, down on Broadway in downtown Nashville. The reason why I'm saying that is it doesn't matter. You guys can still watch it right here. What matters, though, is if you guys are around, because I know a lot of you guys live within, Sue LaRue's driving 5 hours in just to make the live stream. Now, Randy will be there. Randy may not even come up on camera. But I'm throwing it out there. I'm inviting all of you. I am. If you guys would like to come hang out with us at the Redneck Riviera next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or you can come watch it right here with me. It's going to be awesome. Now, Steve Holland, he set it up, so we're going to have John Rich there. We're also going to have Barry Duke, who is the Executive Vice President at Surefire for their suppressor division. Barry Duke is an awesome guy. I've known him, 20 years now. Wow, probably 20 years. That is some good coffee. That's that 5 Stone. 5 Stone coffee. We're also going to have one of the vice presidents from Henry Rifles. You know, Steve and John both love their Henry Rifles. They love their lever gun. I love lever guns also. If I'm going to go to a gunfight, though, I'm going to take an AR, but understand that's because I've got 35 years of muscle memory doing this instead of doing this. So go with what you know. All right. I see we've had a couple other ones come in. I'm sorry I'm falling behind here, guys. Renegade Arms, a.k.a. Eric. 3 down 10 bones, minus shipping and handling. Carl, thanks for everything and always responding. And thank you very much for the offer you made to my spouse. Yeah, please bring her. It would be awesome. I'm very, very proud of your wife for helping out where nobody else would. Big Tuna, guys, look at that. Look at that stuff right there. Big Tuna threw down 50 bones for Mrs. Erickson's roses. Thank you, Miss Dana. I'm taking my wife out for Valentine's Day. Let's spoil her rotten. What do you say? I take her to Nashville. Oh, now we're going to get a hotel room. I'm going to try to get us reservations at a nice steakhouse. And then we're going to go to the Redneck Riviera. It's a good time, guys. If you want to come, you want to meet my blushing bride, my wife will be there. She will. But the big thing is I'd love to have you guys come visit with Randy. Show Randy some support. Next one is from Mike Quigley. What classes are Rawson going to be part of, if any? All right. Right off the bat, I know we have locked Rawson in for the Texas class, which is end of March, beginning of April. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I think that would be end of March, beginning of April. I'm looking. Don't get off me. All right. Mid-South, Sand Snake. Yeah. In Texas, we are going to be kicking off Carbine Zero Mastery on the 27th. I don't know if Rawson will be there for that. All right. Then we have Combat Pistol on the 28th. Pistol Carbine on 29th and 30th. And then the 31st of March and the 1st of April is the Advanced Pistol Carbine course. And then the 2nd of March, which is actually a Sunday, we have a new class. It's called Just the Tests. So if you've already attended our other classes, and so you have our complete list of critical task evaluations, you know, how we test assaulters to see if they're up to speed and stuff, and you've plateaued and you want to get better. Hey, how do I get better at this? Well, that's the whole focus of that course. One day class is called Just the Test. And we go over how to take basically a shooting drill, and then we get into how to break it down step by step and then improve it, and then a methodology that certain places use to improve. It's very similar what the U.S. Olympic teams do to improve something. Your high jumper. How do you improve a high jumper? You break it down on slow-mo camera into each small subtask that needs to be done. All right, and anyways, that's what you do. I didn't think I did that, Susan. She's telling me to rewind here. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Sherry Champagne had one here. Hey, is Miss Steve Holland going to be on here tonight? Just got here. Honest, guys, if you see my eyes keep dotting up over there, that's, we got the screen, you got the screen, you've got the flat screen, you got the big flat screen, and I am looking at the security camera one, waiting to see him drive in front of the camera down on the road that has a license plate reader on it. That gives me my quarter-mile head start before he gets here. I get an alert on my phone if anybody drives past a license plate reader, but the camera, it's also dark outside right now, but the vehicle passing under the IR light, it'll light up. So I'm honest, I'm waiting. I'm hoping Steve shows up tonight. Susan, I really do. I hope that he does. All right, Cash Me Outside. What's the ideal weight for a tactical precision rifle? Honestly, as light as possible. Let's break it down. All right, a rifle. What is a rifle? We'll start from the back. Rifle. What does a rifle need to be? Weight-wise, does it really matter on a rifle? No. First off, the rifle needs to be reliable. Then it needs to be accurate. Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. Let's go to that next word. Let's dial it back a little bit more. Precision. All right, so we need a rifle that's, again, reliable and accurate. Accurate is if the monkey behind it is, but if you weren't there, it's precision ammo through a precision firearm. Okay, so I need a precision rifle. Okay, but then there's that other word there, tactical. So when I teach my tactical precision rifle course, understand I'm teaching you guys basically how to use sniper rifles is what I'm doing, and understand I teach these classes different than, and you can go online and have the whole precision rifle series. It's a sport kind of like 3-gun, all right, and I'm not bashing them, not at all, because these guys can shoot accurately, and these guys pour money into the best ammo, the best guns, best caliber for hitting pieces of steel at long distance. Okay, cool. However, precision, I'm not bashing precision rifle series. I'm just using them as an example. In that sport, you basically can bring your truck right up to the firing line and you take your rifle off the truck. And what allows you to shoot faster is if your gun doesn't move. How do you do that? Ammo with less recoil. Well, I need ass pushing it so I can hit it longer distances. Good muzzle brakes, okay, but the more aggressive the muzzle brake, the more it makes the gun inaccurate. The other way to do it is add weight to the gun. So a lot of these guys, because they don't have to carry the guns anywhere, a lot of these guys are adding bronze weights to their guns. These guns weigh like 40 pounds. They weigh as much as a full-blown belt-fed machine gun. They weigh more than a lot of belt-fed machine guns. And that's fine because they've only got to move it like from here and then move it 3 feet to this one, and then they're done, and then they can put it back on the truck and drive to the next stage. that's not real life. That, you understand, that's not real life. The whole, well, if you miss, you get another shot at. No, the real life guys, if you shoot at a guy that is 800 meters away, a 40-inch silhouette, top of his head to his belt, 20 inches wide, 39 inches tall, basically, 20 inches wide. You shoot at him and you miss, you understand he's not that big anymore. He's not. He is going to drop in the prone, and now all you have is headshots. That's just the truth. So this, while you can shoot till you hit, not, and having guns that weigh 40, 45 pounds, it's just not practical. So, again, we go back to, you specifically wrote tactical precision rifle, right? So the ideal weight is as light as possible without sacrificing precision, right? So can you go with a pencil barrel to save weight? And that's fine for up close 3-gun matches. But the problem with a pencil barrel, when you put a suppressor on the end of it, again, that works as a muzzle brake, but it also reduces a lot of the concussion around you. A pencil barrel, once that gun starts warming up, your barrel actually starts drooping. So this is a heart attack. It will throw off the zero of your gun. You'll start hitting low, and then as soon as you stop and let the gun cool off, now your zero comes right back up to normal again, and the gun is cooling off. Right. So I don't, as far as, because the answer he wants to hear is 9 pounds or 13 pounds. Guys, I can't give you that, because to me, we had so many different tools in our toolbox. What do I mean by that? I had my M4. I had an MP5 SD suppressed. I had my pistol. But I also have my SR-25, AR-10 for you guys, what you'd call it, SR-25 Mark 11. But then I also had my M24 308. I had my 300 Win Mag bolt gun, but then I also had my 50 cal Barrett. Now, depending on what the mission was, if we knew the mission required us to shoot accurately from one ridge line to another ridge line, precision fires, then yeah, bring the 300 Win Mag, bring the 338 Norma, bring the 300 Norma. Okay. But if I'm going to a gunfight where I've got to shoot from a 3rd story loophole, to get to that 3rd story, I've got to clear that building. I'm not going to do that with a bolt gun. So for me, more important is I needed to be semi-auto, and that's why most of my combat ops were with with the SR-25 Mark 11. Good gun. It was a great gun for me. Served me very, very well. If I needed to go bigger, I went to the Barrett. I didn't stop anywhere in the middle. If I needed to be able to interdict vehicles, or if it was a quick reaction force or blocking position, guys would want to bring rockets and stuff. Okay, you can carry that. You're good out the 200-300 meters with it. I really don't want a truckload of guys to get that close to me. I'd rather kill that truck out at 600 meters and then have them start shooting at me from 600 meters, while meanwhile all of us are plinking at them with state-of-the-art night vision devices and weapons that can actually reach 600. So you see my thought process. Again, guys, that's just me. I don't have an exact weight for you. I apologize. I'm not that good at that. All right. Ooh, I'm falling behind again, aren't I? Sorry about that. The Gustash 2531 threw down 5 bones. Sir, just wanted to say thank you for your service and all you do for us. I appreciate that, dude. I really do. All right. Nest. Susan Bratcher, can you ask Carl if he has seen Emery Breach or vice versa? What would either of you advise the other if it isn't classified? I have never done a breaching class with Emery. Never. We've talked about it. We've had lots of conversations. We talk about different kit. The Israeli, and again, he was in the specialty breaching for his Israeli unit. But they did a lot of hydraulic breaching of doors, where they would have like the hydraulic on the pack on the back, and you come up and actually basically reverse jaws of life, open doors. Okay, that's cool. That's really awesome. But my experience breaching was, and I did all the explosive breaching with our 18 Charlies, and I've done everything from foo gas shots to Bangalore torpedoes to shape charges to cratering charges, improvised explosives. It's all fun in training. In combat, though, all I've ever done is door charges, wall charges, charges for interdicting vehicles, things like that. I mentioned that I've taught explosive breaching classes. I have never been the lead instructor, not at all. Matter of fact, the explosive breaching courses that I taught with, I'm not going to say their names, but they were both the master breacher for Delta. I know Delta doesn't exist. But anyways, one guy's named Bill. Bill's awesome. Bill taught classes with Bill, but his boss, or the guy before him, his name's Don. Don's awesome. And Don would bring me in to be his assistant instructor because Don had been out for a while. My job was to, I'll use the German SEALs again as an example. If things came up tactics-wise that was modern, I had just retired. I was still up to date on tactics and all the things that were going on, where Don could literally talk with you getting down to the submolecular level of what these explosives were going to do and the shock waves. And I always learn a lot going to these classes. I'm the knuckle dragger there in the classroom. But we've done some awesome breaching. And I like being an assistant instructor more than I like being lead instructor, because I get to sit there and learn, while they're doing their calculations to calculate net explosive weight and minimum safe distance. I'm sitting there doing the math, trying to see if I match what they're coming up with again against what he's already double checked himself. And learning new techniques. They do things different than we do. The Dutch do things different than the Germans, different from Canadians, different. MARSOC does things different than the Rangers, different than SF units. And it's always great to just go around and train with all the different units. Isn't that funny? I literally, I can't give you guys straight answers when you ask me, is this number a 7 or a 13? I can't give you those answers, unlike a lot of the guys on the internet can. But then at the same time, I've actually trained with all these people, and I actually did 25 years, most of it in special ops. And a lot of the guys on the internet, they just wear multicam and nods on their helmets. They've never actually done anything. I think that's funny. All right, so let's see where I get caught up again here. Sorry, everybody, I'm falling behind again. I don't know how it just jumped from one to the other. All right, let me see if I missed any other ones. All right. In your face, 5 bones. 5th group was cool and trained the Marines in Djibouti and Iraq. Thanks for all the Sims in the kill house. Dude, you're welcome. I'm assuming In Your Face was a Marine. Guys, I love Marines. I have been in lots of gunfights with Big Army wrapped around me. Lots of gunfights with the Marines wrapped around me. And I'm here. I'm not bashing Big Army, but I will tell you my personal experience is being with Marine units. Their combat always worked out better for me because the Marines didn't care that I was wearing a Punisher baseball cap. The Marines didn't care that I had Desert Tiger stripes instead of the uniform of the day. They didn't care that I was wearing Merrells instead of desert boots. And all the Marines cared about was killing. And I was bringing that ability to them. And so me and the Marines, we always got along good. And we would tear it up, guys. Second Battle of Fallujah, Najaf, all kinds of places. Always good gunfights with the Marines. Had a Marine right next to him. The rocket hit the wall. The Marine, I call him a Marine. He was a Navy corpsman attached to the Marines. All your medics in the Marine Corps and Navy corpsmen. He lost his arm. Rocket came through the wall. Sucked. But honestly, that whole deployment, I didn't have to write a Purple Heart for not a single one of my guys. Now, yeah, there were times where, hey, one of you guys got cut, or Carl, you've got that, or the cuts on your arms, and that's a purple. I'm not writing my guys up for Purple Hearts when this guy lost his arm, or this Marine died in my arms. No, not writing my guys up for Purple Hearts for that. So, guys, I don't have a Purple Heart. Now, if you've got a Purple Heart out there, guys, my hat off to you, because that would suck. I don't want to get shot. Hell with that. No. All right. Every time I put down my phone, guys, it jumps to a different spot. We already did Gustash. We already did that one. Semper Paratus. TR Live is a large, expansive capacity for patience, a trait for which cadre is looking during selection. TR Live is a large, expansive capacity for patience, a trait for which cadre are looking for during selection. All right, I'm get what you're getting at. Yes, when you go to Special Forces selection, I can't speak for other selections and stuff, but for the most part, a lot of them are the same. Our selection basically, and they change it. I have no idea what they're doing now. You guys understand. I went through selection right after Desert Storm, so it's been a while. But basically 21 days long, a lot of land nav, a lot of this, a lot of that, individual stuff. But then you get the team week. And team week, they don't really care that you're accomplishing the missions, but you better. Your team better accomplish the mission, because all the missions are easy to accomplish if you work together. See, that's the key. You notice we don't call it an operational detachment alpha. We don't call it that because that's what it is. On the books, it is a operational detachment alpha. Company level is an operational detachment Bravo. Right? We don't call it an operational detachment alpha. We call it an A team. All right? So teamwork is very, very important. Now, critical thinking and being smart. We don't need dumbasses that are just knuckle draggers. Oh, he said go, let's go. That's not what we need in special ops either. We need people that can think outside the box, but you need to be able to work together as a team. If 3 people on the team all have great ideas, and you get mad because they didn't do your great idea, yours might have been a little bit better than the other one, but that guy was in charge right now. His idea will still work. But if you make a big sting, you refuse to be a team player, the whole time you're arguing, you're wasting time, and now neither plan is working as well. So yeah, patience, smile, and because you're going to have guys on your team that are showboating. They only pull their weight when the instructors are around. When they see the instructors looking at them, they'll be the ones working harder than anybody else. It doesn't matter. Don't get mad at them, because the instructors see everything. The instructors see everything. If they're not pulling their weight, the instructors see it. You don't have to tell the instructors, hey, this guy's not pulling his weight. You be a team player. If you've got a good idea, share the good idea. But if they choose not to do it, so be it. All right. When you're in charge, we can do your good idea. Patience is important. It really is. It went all the way back to Echo is not as bad. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. All right. Any small unit tactics classes, Carl? That's from Jerry J. As of right now, I do not have any small unit tactics classes on the calendar. Susan, I do not know why it's jumping around like this. All right. Shit. Scott Smith, I have a important question for I have gunpowder. I did my reloads. I haven't done any for 10 years. Is the gunpowder good or should I get new gunpowder? Can you help me, please? Honest, so long as you kept it in a cool, dry place, gunpowder is gunpowder. Here's the deal, though. Here's how you can check it yourself. If you loaded correctly like you're supposed to, when you load, you're supposed to record your load data for every batch that you do. What I mean by that, folks, is case overall length, powder load, weight projectile, type of gunpowder, type of primer, all this affects. But then once you've loaded it, you're supposed to take it out and true your loads. Shoot them, chronograph them for muzzle velocity, but also measure the groups for accuracy. And what you'll find by just modifying a tenth of a grain of powder one way or the other, or adjusting your overall length a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. Remember, you don't want it to touch the lands and grooves in your barrel, but you want it to be really close. But by you adjusting your overall length and powder charge, different type primers, this, that, and the other, you'll find if you shoot groups, so you'll find that magic sweet spot for your gun with your ammo. And instead of having one MOA ammo, you'll have quarter MOA ammo. All right. So if you did that 10 years ago, you should have your book that has all your data in it. All right, a couple of you guys are glazing over right there. All right, it's right here. I just happen to have my book underneath my Dillon 650. And what I'm talking about, guys, is I just got this out from underneath mine. This is my second book, but I can pick any page here. All right, so basically you can go anywhere in here and you've got the data for your ammo. All right, now the reason why I'm saying this is if you go back and you've just dusted off your machine, go to the last page, the last thing that you loaded right before you put the cover on that reloading press. Where is it at? Let's go to that last page. All right, you go to that last page, you find that last load, and redo that same load with your same gunpowder. Do everything the same. Then go out and reshoot it. And you should be getting the same muzzle velocity out of that gunpowder. All right. The correct way to do it is measure so much of it and do a burn rate with it. And I'm not a subject matter expert on that. I don't know how to do that. They do that to check quality control at the actual gunpowder factories. You could probably go to, Hodgson or whatever brand gunpowder you use. You could probably go to their website and ask, hey, what is the shelf life of gunpowder? Just understand, just like a lot of med supplies are going to tell you, oh, that gunpowder's expired. That's the same as saying Tylenol expires. It's cool, dry place. Tylenol does not expire, guys. It just doesn't. It doesn't. You test it every so many years for strength, but then the military will move the expiration date of that lot number of that type of drug, and they email it out to everybody. If you've got a bottle of 1,000 tabs, the expiration date on a lot of the bottles in the aid stations, the expiration date will be crossed out, a new date, that one's crossed out, the next one crossed out. I'm serious, we move expiration dates on drugs. You can do the same thing with your gunpowder. All right, guys, I get sidetracked from time to time. Michael Johnson, question: practical distance of your SR25. We would plink steel out at 800-900 meters with an SR25. Notice I use the word plink and steel because it's fun to plink. It's fun to plink. When you start looking at, as you worded it here, practical distance, see, because that's the part that a lot of people miss out on. For example, there's the new hotness on the internet, a lot of these gun companies, is they're working on a 3-mile gun. 3 miles, right? They want to be able to say that they can hit a man-sized steel plate at 3 miles. Now, to do that, and I've seen some of the write-ups and stuff, like Barrett is working on it's called an extreme range gun. There are other people working on extreme range guns, and they actually put drones like I think it's every 400 meters, the whole distance, and the drones hover and measure environmental factors. So if there's a sudden change in wind, it automatically adjusts where you need to aim. Literally, ain't that sexy? Guys, is that not sexy? So there's no more guessing what the wind is doing the whole route. Max ordinate of the round, coming down. They can actually have drones there measuring real time what the bullet's doing. That's sexy, right? That's sexy. So now they're wanting to get, so they can get a first round hit at 3 kilometers. And that sounds sexy. It's sexy. Is that practical? Is that practical? I'm here to tell you, my hide site, where I've got my gun set up, I do not want a row of drones, a straight line of drones going straight to my bush. How about no? Like, no. No, why would I do that? Now, what about if now remember at, how many meters is that? That's 1750, so 3,000 meters, all right? So basically you're talking even a, wow, 3,000, a half MOA gun, you're still talking a 200-inch shot group. So you'd have to have a quarter MOA gun. Any mistake in wind or range estimation, you're going to miss by a couple of inches, right? Yeah, all right? You'll miss. So you've just missed. What is that guy going to do? Is he going to stand there? No, he's going to, oh snap, what was that? He's going to get down. Now you don't have a full-size target anymore. So what do you do? And Rob mentioned 3 miles with a tank. Honest, guys, if he's not within the effective range of my rifle, then that basically means I'm minimum safe distance. Have the helicopter hit it. Have the Air Force hit it. Because it doesn't matter if the Hellfire missile misses by 9 inches. If the Hellfire missile coming down at a 45-degree angle misses the guy by 9 inches, it's still going to land within 3 feet of him, and he's a training loss. The guy is that's a confirmed kill for the Air Force JTAC standing next to you. Carl, you missed. Huh. Hey, move over, my turn. He's going to get the confirmed kill. So I don't think of 3-mile guns as being practical. Practical range for SR25 for me, okay, my mission, the job of my assaulters was to support the assault force. All right, so we can do this by pictures here. So my assault force getting ready to get on, in this case, an Osprey. All right, that's Buddy Ward, by the way. Me and my guys have to be able to support them as that loud Osprey's coming in. That is a SR25 Mark 11 with a PVS 22 night sight on the front of it. Now, the assault force has to be able to come up to the target, right? you can't land an osprey on the target. It takes too long to land. So they have to land offset, and then the assault force has to walk in, right? Tiptoe in. We're not landing on the X. We're not landing on the Y. It's called an offset. As they're tiptoeing in, the sniper teams are already in position. Now, let's say the target is, even if it's a small single structure, it's still courtyard, everything. It's 50 meters by 50 meters. Okay. Let's say they have a sentry outside, or a guy walks outside, the guy with an AK. If the assault force can't get to the breach point, maybe the assaulters can get to the other breach points. These guys can't get to that one. If I shoot that sentry and just shoot him, pow, all he's got to do is pull the trigger on that AK. He wakes everybody up. And the report from my gun will wake everybody up. So I have to use a suppressed round, but it also has, so it's got to be subsonic. I have to use a subsonic round to take out that guard. Now, remember, I can't just shoot him in the chest with a subsonic round because he'll still pull the trigger on his AK, which means now I need an instantaneous kill shot in the T-box. Depending on which way the head is facing, you might be aiming temple, but basically I'm trying to hit the brain stem, size of a walnut, at the base of your two hemispheres of your brain. Another class. I need to be able to hit that T-box. All right. So let's say a 4-inch by 4-inch target, subsonic ammo is only good for about 200 meters, 250 meters before the shot group starts to get too big. And because remember, I have to be in that T-box. So I have to be within 250 meters of him. What about if he's on the other side of the target? So now I have to subtract another 50 meters. So now I have to be within 200 meters of that guy. Oh, and by the way, I have to be able to do it in the dark. Oh, and by the way, he may be moving when the assault countdown. If I shoot on the T and 2, we blow charges on 1. The assault force goes in on the E and execute. 5, 4, 3, 2. Boom, guns go off. The bullets all arrive. 1, the charges start to go off. Beautiful stuff, right? Makes sense. Makes sense. So now I'm having to shoot on an assault countdown. I'm not ambushing a moving target. So you see how my practical range for that SR-25, there's a lot that goes into that math. So when people ask me, Carl, you were a sniper, what range do you want to be at, man? If I'm supporting the assault force, I need to be within 200 meters of the target. Everybody's like, ooh, man, these SF guys, they're not very good, man. My Marines, they're good out to 1,000 meters. The SEALs are good out to 9,000 meters. Just ask them, they'll tell you. And no, I'm not saying I can't shoot at distance. I'm a member of the 1 Mile Club. You can go to dnlsports.com. They have a 1 Mile Club there. I have knocked down the C-Zone steel plate at a mile. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. That's not real life. It's not real life. So now, as far as the gun itself, acceptable accuracy, I need to be able to take fast, accurate shots within 600 meters. Me personally, I'm going to let the bad guys walk to within 400 meters, no closer than 300. You're getting closer than 300, they can hit me with their AKs, but my sweet spot in the dark is 300 to 400 meters. If a guy's running, I don't have to transition laterally left or right. If you understand, if a guy's 50 meters away and he runs 50 feet, that's from there to there. That's a long way to move a sniper rifle. If he's at 400 meters, if he moves 50 feet, that's from there to there. That's it. That's it. That's easy for me to pan that gun. So anyways, practical distance. Me personally, I don't brag about long distance shot. My furthest kill in combat is 461 meters in the dark. 461 meters. That's my furthest kill on a human being. I'm not bragging. I know I personally have friends that have got kills past 1,000 meters. That's not me. I'd love to. Maybe someday. I'm still young, right? Maybe someday. Let's see what we've got here. Next one. Without further ado, did Carl ever use one of those disposable flare-like cutting torch devices? I've messed with them. I've used them at classes and stuff and never used them on target. The same thing. I did a lot of classes with Broco cutting torches with the big oxygen tanks on your back, and they'll cut through anything. Literally, you can walk up to a vault and just cut right through stuff. I won't get into all the tactical uses of it. But no, I've never messed with the disposable flares overseas. Never. Again, I've had classes with them. I don't have any personal real-world experience with it. Pat O'Connor threw down $10. My son and I will send Randy's birthday cards to your address, Carl. Would you please bring them to him next Tuesday? Yes, Pat, I will do that for you. Pat O'Connor, you guys know him as One-Legged Patty. He came and did Operation Valkyrie second year, so he's got my mailing address. Pat, I miss your buddy. I really do. I miss your son, too. They came to not this past Patreon class, the one after that. All right. Before Susan yells at me. Mike Quigley wants to know what classes Rawson will be doing. You missed it earlier. No, I didn't, Susan. I got that one. But in case Mike wasn't on, when I believe the Texas class, which is 27 March. No, he won't be at Combat Zero Mastery. 28 March, the pistol class, then pistol carbine, probably advanced pistol carbine, and just the test. I will probably use Rawson and Emery for all of those classes. Again, I believe I have Rawson down for those classes. We haven't locked the dates in yet, but we're also looking at doing the next Patreon course at Beaumont Ranch again I think we're going to do it in last week of October, and I'm sure Rawson will be there for that one, and I'm sure Rawson will do more classes later on in the year, guys. I know everybody wants to see Rawson there. And here's the deal. If you want to train with Rawson does a lot of great courses on his own. You can go to tacticalperformancecenter.com and pull up all the classes and shooting competitions that Rawson will be at. All right, I got another one here. Rifleman, thank you, Susan, by the way, for doing all this. Carl, fighter pilots and tank commanders can become aces by achieving 5 confirmed victories. Is there a similar tradition for special operations warriors? No, there is not. There's not. Here's, do you even say it out loud? Do I bust the bubble? Understand that a lot of SF guys will go their whole career and they'll do lots of ops. Lots of training, lots of combat ops and everything, and they will have never shot anybody. And well, Carl, wait a minute. There's just people. You guys all have got hundreds of thousands of. No, that's video games. That's video games where you get shot and you just get red around the edges and you hide behind the wall and the red goes away and all of a sudden you're immortal again. No, that's not real life. Understand a lot of the assaulters, they would blow the doors open. They'd go in. The guy would have an AK. The guy'd throw the AK down. You'd run up. You'd muzzle thump the guy, grab him by the face, throw him on the ground. You zip tie him. He would go to Guantanamo Bay, and he will have been one of the best catches of the entire year. Tons of intel. Or you could have shot the guy just so you could say, well, I killed a human being. I killed one of God's creatures. So please don't take away, and please don't think less of any of these guys because they say, you know, I've never shot a human being. All of my assaulters have had to go in and put hands on and beat people down and flashbangs. They've all been shot at because you'll be getting ready to hit this building and all of a sudden your building will get lit up. By the time you turn, that cop car with machine gun in the back of it is already gone. You get rockets shot at you, mortars, everything else. But please don't think that every SF guy has just got necklaces filled with ears and stuff. That's not real life, guys. It's not real life. Please don't think anything less of them. All right. So back to your thing. If you get 5 confirmed kills, are you an ace? Honest, no, you don't. And here's another thing. And again, I'm not bashing certain units. I'm not. But in the dark, you're up shooting through a loophole in a wall. You're shooting down, and 400 meters away in another building, because you're in the middle of Najaf, Fallujah, wherever it is, a guy starts shooting out the window at the Marines. You bring your gun up, and you pull the trigger, and your spotter confirms that the guy, trace went right in, the guy went down in the room. Is that a confirmed kill? For a lot of units, it is. For a lot of units, the guy went down in the room. Yeah, that's a confirmed kill. They high five. You got a confirmed kill. The real life though, if you miss that guy by half an inch and it hit the wall behind him, katow! What does he do? Oh snap! He still goes down inside the room. So my snipers, basically, unless you could go up with your empty casing and rub DNA on it so you could put it up on the shelf in your man room, we didn't get confirmed kills like that. And there's a guy that's got a book. I'm not going to say his name, but you know they've got literally hundreds of confirmed kills. That'd be awesome. But that's not the world that me and my snipers lived in. Not at all. Not at all. All right. Joe S. Carl, will you be doing another knife anytime soon? Doing like designing another knife? Yes. Kraken Tactical. You guys know I'm a big fan of Kraken. Well, we got new viewers. Maybe you guys aren't familiar with it. I actually got the last one I got from him. It's not my knife. It's Randy Rawhide Worth. This is the bag the knife comes in to give you an idea how big the knife is. Now, Kraken doesn't skimp on quality. That's not a knife. This is a knife. This is called the Dang Cowboy. It's got Randy's logo on one side. It's got the Tactical Rifleman logo on the other. Look at the size of that knife, guys. And his handles are just... It's just beautiful work, dude. Beautiful. And called the Dang Cowboy. And anyways, he made this knife. He designed it with Randy Worst. And it is totally badass. And now, he did a knife for my patrons. On Patreon, nice knife. He's got another one that basically I gave him a lot of feedback on, helped him improve some of his other knives. Emery's in the middle of designing a couple karambits. The shitty part was we actually gave one away on a live stream, and it never made it there. It got shipped to an apartment in California. And I'm sure all they did was leave the box out on the steps. I checked the tracking number. It was delivered. And it's not like I can go back and tell them, hey, FedEx. It was actually United States Postal Service. I don't have a FedEx in town here. I don't have a UPS in town. The U.S. Postal Service is famous for losing shit. I know. I'm sorry, but that's all I got here. But that knife went all, and guys, that's like a $300 knife to have lost. I can't go to Emery and say, "Hey, will you give away another one?" I can't do that. Emery won't do it because I already asked him. Now, so anyways, Kraken, we don't really talk, but he texts me. He's like, "Hey, sorry, they screwed up my thing on Patreon." He got auto taken off of Patreon. He's back on Patreon again, so he'll be at this month's live stream. We do a Patreon live stream that's actually a Zoom conference call. It's cool because you'll have 20 patrons there. It's kind of like the Brady Bunch. Everybody gets to talk to each other and everything. It's awesome. So he'll be there this month. But Kraken is supposed to be sending me a new knife design that he wants my feedback on, and we are gonna make this a new tactical rifleman knife for you guys. I actually got approached by a couple different knife companies at SHOT Show, and hey, Carl, we want to do a knife with you. Want to do? I'm like, no, you want me to sell one of your knives with my logo on it. I got that. But the reality is Kraken makes good knives. Emery makes good knives. There are good knife companies out there. There are. Even Tops Knives, guys. Tops Knives makes... What I like about Tops Knives is they've got like 300 designs. You go to their table at SHOT Show, and it's just, as far as I can see, and they're all different. You go to the Spyderco booth, they've got 1,000 knives, and they're all basically the same, different colors, different lengths. So they're a couple different, but no, not like Tops Knives. So, and Tops Knives are not that expensive. They're just not. So if you're on a budget, I have a hard time steering people away from Tops Knives. The knife on my gun belt, guys, and I've got, I don't know how many fixed blade knives I have, and some of them are crazy expensive. The small fixed blade knife on my belt it's an old Tops knife. It's called the Scout, and it was given to me as a gift in Fallujah in 2004. A guy that owned, he was a president of Armacite at the time. President of ATN. We were friends, and he sent me 18 knives. He said, give one to each one of the guys on your team. I don't know how many guys you got. You keep the rest of them. So I laid them all out on the table. I let my guys pick everything, gave them out to my Air Force guys, my interpreters and everything. And I was basically left with 3 knives on the table. And one of them was a Big Pig sticker. That was a cool knife. But one was this little itty bitty one, and I zip tied it on my gun belt. I keep getting new gun belts. And I've had gun belts that had like Kevlar soft armor in them, and narrow gun belts and padded gun belts, and this gun belt and that gun belt. I always get new pouches, new holsters, new med kits. It seems like I always take that same knife from belt to belt, and it has served me well ever since. I don't even think they make it anymore. Actually, I checked at SHOT Show, they do still make it. That is some good freaking coffee, guys. I cannot get over that. Cannot get over that coffee. Good stuff. So I have an espresso machine. So in the morning I do my 8 shots of espresso. I add a little bit of Italian sweet cream to it. Gets my heart moving in the morning. I already mentioned I gave up oxygen a couple of years ago. It's nighttime now, so 4 shots of espresso with a lot of cream, but then also I put a little bit of Hershey's chocolate in it, and sugar, small sugar high, help keep me awake. Good coffee though, good coffee, guys. It's from 5stoneusa.com. Eric at 5stone. Eric is good people. Eric, by the way, I got that new 5-pound bag of coffee. Thank you, brother. It's awesome. which was like right in time because I think I've got like that much left of this other bag I had. But if you go to let me get it right, FiveStoneUSA.com, you use code TR10 and it saves you 10% off everything, all their coffee beans. And they have ground, but I'm a whole bean guy. Guys, full disclosure, I do not make a dime. I do not get kickbacks other than on occasion. He sends me coffee. But the big thing is me and Eric are friends. Eric has taken a high-risk travel course. Eric goes and does missionary work overseas. Eric is a good person. He is. And if his passion for coffee is helping him finance the mission work that he's doing overseas, then I am all about helping to promote him. All right. Next one, didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Man, your mama named you weird. Okay. What did you see at shot that made you do a double take? It's going to sound weird, all right, because you watch all the videos everybody else is doing, all the Instagram posts from SHOT Show. The latest hotness is, and everybody had new optic, but Holosun's got this new thermal day sight for your gun. It's a day sight, but you can turn it on thermal and okay. And I understand it impressed a lot of people, but you also have to understand I get to use a lot of your military grade thermals. So I have seen some of the best thermals on the planet. So the Holosun one, it's okay. It's okay. I've asked them if I can do a review of it. They just kind of laughed at me like, look, there's a long waiting list, which is okay. I understand. I get 3,000 views. Garantham gets 3 million views on a video. Send it to Mike first. Let him do the review. I got it. But as far as anything just sexy that made me do a double take, there were very, very few things that really caught my eye. One thing, it wasn't that it's that awesome. It was that different. And what it was is there's a company called Gorilla Ammo, small company, but they make a 8.6 millimeter, not 6.8, 8.6 millimeter blackout. I mean like 300 blackout. So this is designed to be subsonic. Yeah. So picture that same casing, but with a 338 Lapua projectile. And they make ones that are expanding like broadheads and everything. Now the problem with a projectile that big is you've got to really stabilize it. Otherwise, as soon as it comes out the end of the barrel, it'd be like throwing a football without you putting a spiral on it. That football would just start going end over end. You'd have 20-inch shot groups at 50 meters. It wouldn't be good for hog hunting. But if you could get it spinning fast enough to make it stable, now subsonic, suppressed at 100 meters, you are hitting hogs so much harder than 300 blackout or anybody else can even dream of being. You understand? If you take a 300 Win Mag and you make it subsonic with a 190 grain projectile, or even like we'll say a 220 grain 300 Win Mag subsonic is the same as you shooting a 220 grain 300 blackout, because you had to slow it down so much, and it's the exact same projectile. A lot of people don't grasp that. It's the same projectile. So now this is basically a 338 projectile, massive, being shot out of that small casing. So they had the gun there. Now I'm like, nah, okay, but you got to stabilize it. you guys understand like a 1 in 8 twist barrel in a 300 blackout. Okay. A 1 in 7 twist or 1 in 10 twist are very common in your AR rifles. When I say something has a 1 in 10 twist, that means that for every 10 inches of barrel, that bullet makes one complete revolution. It spins 360 degrees once in every 10 inches. So if you had a 18-inch barrel on your rifle, it's spinning almost 2 times before it leaves the end of the barrel. You're starting that spiral as you throw that football. The problem is a short barrel, you're not getting enough spin to stabilize the bullet. And with a 1 in 10 twist, you would actually be hitting baffles inside of your suppressor because your bullet's already getting unstable. You got to have a faster twist, 1 in 8, something like that. The problem with a 1 in 8 in a big gun is you're not gonna have a decent barrel life. Okay, but it stabilizes the bullet quicker. So I was expecting him to say that he had a 1 in 8, maybe a 1 in 7 twist, maybe 1 in 6. You guys are gonna love this. This is what made me do the double take. They have a 1 in 3 inch twist. So for every 3 inches, it does a complete 360. And I'm like, all right, is this a progressive rifling? In other words, it starts off at like a 1 in 8, and then as it speeds up, it gets tighter. Very hard to do in a gun. It takes a lot more money to do that, but much safer for barrel life. And they're like, no, it starts off at 1 in 3 and it stays that way the whole barrel. Okay. And he says, hey, but you can do supersonic rounds that way through the 1 in 3. Supersonic 338 through a 1 in 3 twist. That's insane. Nobody would do that. And I'm like, what's your barrel life? He's like, who cares? He's like, I don't know. What? But he goes, and if you're going to do just subsonic, we have a 1-to-1 twist. I want that to sink in because, let me find your bullet here. Standard 5.56. I'm going to pull that green tip out here. You guys can make a liar out of me here. That projectile, guys, is over 1/2 inch long. This is your 62 grain. It's over 1/2 inch long. So in just twice that distance in the barrel, it is spinning completely 365 degrees. 360 degrees, I'm sorry, 360. In each inch, it's spinning 360 degrees. So I'm like, yeah, I'm calling bullshit. I'm telling you, I understand you're the founder and CEO and owner of the company. I'm calling bullshit, and put your money where your mouth is. And he's like, roger that. So they are sending me a 8.6 Gorilla ammo rifle. He's like, you want subsonic, or you want semi-auto or bolt action? I'm like, I don't even care about functionality and reliability. Just do bolt action. I'm concerned with the bullet and the barrel. So we're going to shoot the snot out of some ballistic gel. I just thought it was crazy. So as far as me getting a double take at SHOT Show, guys, I was very let down at SHOT Show. They have to have something new every year. I got that. But yeah, something new. Something new is, hey, it was a red reticle last year. It's a green reticle this year. Something new for most of the gun companies is, well, it was available only in black last year. This year we've got it in flat dark earth. Oh wow, that's awesome. Let me buy a new one for every guy in my unit because we don't have spray paint. Okay, but that's just a cool. That's just, yeah. The guys in the chat room were talking jacket separation. Yeah, if you were to shoot a supersonic projectile, I'm sure it would completely disintegrate. We'll see. We'll see. I believe I asked them to send me to 1 to 3, but still, even then, 1 in 3 inch. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, anyways, great stuff indeed. And but again, I fall behind. There's nothing else that shot that blew me away. There just wasn't. Carl, any suggestions on pistol and caliber for someone who's been carrying and training with 40 Smith & Wesson subcompact since the 90s, but needs to change to something else as they hit 80? Thanks. All right, flat out, there's a reason why all the law enforcement and military units that were carrying 40 cals, and I'm not bashing 40 cal guys, I'm not, but there's a reason why everybody went to 9mm. You still get satisfactory terminal ballistics inside the body. You actually get better accuracy. And more importantly is you get better enjoyability of the people shooting it. And the reality is, if you don't enjoy shooting that gun, you're not going to practice with it. You're not. So for your smaller people or your females, FBI agents, they wouldn't shoot the thing. All the desk jockeys, they would not shoot the 40 cals. They wouldn't. And that's just the truth. So now you've got people that are not training anymore. So your accuracy and your manipulation of your gun goes down. So now your accuracy is no good. Now you're not hitting center mass anymore. You're hitting out here, and you're not. Who cares what your bullet performance is if you're hitting the guy in the arm? So, where you're saying now you're 80, you don't have the muscle mass that you had when you were 60. I agree with you. You're like me. I am 55. I do not have anywhere near the muscle mass that I had when I was 40 years old. When I was 40 years old, guys, I was 220 pounds, and I like 6 inches less on my waist. I was 220 pounds. I'm 195 right now. I actually think I'm 192 this morning. But regardless, I was at 220, and I had a lot less fat. So you get older, I can't move heavy weights anymore. You can't do the 40 cal anymore. Go to 9mm. Yeah, it's not the pistol. It's not. I encourage you to stick with whatever design firearm you like the best. If you're a Smith & Wesson guy, if you're a SIG guy, if you're a Glock guy, whatever it is, you stay with that. But there's a reason why everybody went to. There's a reason why everybody has gone back to 9mm. The latest hotness at SHOT Show that I saw is everybody is going. The latest hotness is 10mm. Everybody wants to go back big again. They forgot that we just did this in the 90s. All right, but the reality is most of your 10mm ammo that you buy is loaded to 40 cal spec. It's just a longer casing. Yes, you can get some hot 10mm casing, 10mm ammo that, plus P plus, that will knock the snot out of you. You and the target, if it's a black bear, let's say, or mountain lion that's attacking you. But you're going to deal with the recoil also. But understand the 10mm ball ammo that everybody's training with is, if you look at them, because a 10mm projectile is 40 cal, guys, you all understand that. If you look at the muzzle velocity on most of your 10mm ammo, it's the same as your 40 Smith & Wesson ammo. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not bashing the guys that want to do the 40, that want to do the 10mm hotness. Matter of fact, if that's your cup of tea and you want to run with it, jump in with both feet. And the reason why I say that is I have a patron, and he's not just a patron, he's a good friend of mine. He showed up in one of our classes with a 10mm subgun, pistol caliber carbine, 10mm, and his pistol was 10mm. Now, at an adult size Glock, the large frame, and that does two things. One, you're still hitting hard, very hard, but if his if he runs out of ammo for his subgun, he can grab his pistol mags and they still fit into his carbine. If his carbine shits the bed, gets shot or breaks, whatever, catastrophic failure, all his rifle ammo, his pistol caliber carbine 10 millimeter mags fit his pistol. So you understand there's a logic to that, and the 10 millimeter does perform satisfactory. If where you live you're going to stay within 100 meters, you're good. You're good with it. You're good. Ghost Enemy said that the last time he was 190, he was 16 years old. Funny stuff, guys. Yeah, to go with 9mm. 9mm served us fine. Random American threw down 20 bones. When are we getting a Carl's freeze dried apples video or Carl's steals honey from bees? All right, I'll throw that out there. What he's talking about is I have a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and I got it last year, and everybody's like, well, Carl, you're going to do a video on it. I'm not doing a review on the Harvest Right freeze dryer because you understand if I do a review on an optic, you guys value my opinion because I've literally used optics for 35 years, and I've carried low power variable optics on target and combat raids. I've got pictures of me standing over like 600 dead guys with a Horus Vision 1:7 prototype. This is before anybody even knew what low power variables were. I can do a product review on optics because you guys know I have the experience with it. So I've had people ask, when are you going to do a product review on your Harvest Right freeze dryer? I can't do a product review on it because I'm not a subject matter expert on freeze dryers. I can't tell you if it's any better than some other brand. I can tell you it is awesome. It is awesome. We do survival videos from time to time. We like to mix things up. We do some product reviews, not a lot. We do survival, we do medical, we do some shooting, we do a little bit of everything. So my plan is to include the Harvest Right freeze dryer when talking about like food stores and the different ways that you can look at. There's some stuff, if you check our video archive, we've done a video on how to do long-term food storage of like dried grains, whether it's rolled oats or wheat or stuff like that. Mylar bags, diaphaneous earth mixed in, oxygen absorbers, iron it shut, put it in the food grade bucket, hammer it shut, mark it with date and contents, and cool, dry place to store it, and it's good for 25 years. We've already got that video in the video archive. So honestly, what would you guys like to see a video of me showing step by step, this is how you freeze dry food? Because it is so much easier than what I thought it would be. And I'm not talking about dehydrators. You can go to Walmart and get a food dehydrator, and you can dehydrate your fruit, whatever, and it'd be good for a couple of weeks if you're going to go out camping, hiking, whatever. Dehydrated foods, you don't have any refrigeration, whatever. But again, it's only good for a couple of weeks. My freeze-dried apples, Random American knows I have 193 fruit trees, and when the apples came in, you could not eat them fast enough. There's no way. The deer ate probably 400 or 500 apples a night, and there was plenty for everybody. So me and the wife, you could basically do one run of the Harvest Right food freeze dryer per 24 hours. It takes about 22 hours to do it. 20 to 22 hours, depending on the moisture content in what you're trying to freeze dry. So we would have it so it would run overnight and be ready in the morning, and then we'd start the next batch, start it in the morning, it'd be ready basically the next morning. And we would put up gallons after gallons after gallons of apples, and then we were freezing apples because we couldn't run them through the freeze dryer fast enough. And I don't know how many gallons of apples we got, and then peaches and pears and all the other stuff we've got up there. And you can freeze dry. We have freeze dried. We have freeze dried gummy bears just to try it. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. Bananas are awesome. Tomatoes, we freeze dried tomatoes. Whole bunch of fun stuff. If you guys would like to see a video on the process of freeze drying, stuff like that, I know Random American would like to see it. You guys let me know. Would you like to see a video like that for educational purposes? His second one is Carl robbing honey from his bees. I don't consider myself a subject matter expert on bees, not at all. Matter of fact, we've had a bad winter here, and I've lost 2 beehives. I had them insulated, but I've lost two full hives of bees this winter. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a good father. I guess I'm a terrible person. But at the same time, late spring, because you can take honey in this, my hive that died, I guess I could go get whatever honey they have left over when they froze to death. But yeah, I could do a video on how to get honey out of beehives. But understand, guys, my film crew doesn't like doing that because they say, Carl, we're a gun channel. That has nothing to do with guns. There are other YouTube channels for beehives and beekeepers. Okay, but we're supposed to be more than just a gun channel. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Yeah, you're right, Susan. You are correct. What she's saying is we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, guys, and my coffee cup's getting pretty empty. Cash me outside. If you were getting a new barrel for your Ruger precision rifle, would you go with a 6mm Creedmoor or a 6.5 Creedmoor or something else? I'd go with the 6mm. Why? Because that's not a combat gun for me. It's not. A combat gun is going to be 308. So it's not like I'm saying, well, I'm not going to be able to get 6mm ammo. I can always get 6.5 at Bass Pro Shop. Okay, but you can't get real accurate 6.5 ammo at Bass Pro Shop. So the 6mm round, same casing. The 6mm round is more accurate simply because it's skinnier. It's going to have a longer projectile, so you have the same weight projectile. But because it's skinnier, it's going to have a better ballistic coefficient, less air drag. Now, on that, to get the same weight, it has to be longer. The longer the bullet is, the more it drags inside the barrel. You're going to have shorter barrel life. So where you might get 6,000 rounds, again, I'm just using round numbers for you, 6,000 rounds out of a 6.5 Creedmoor, you might get 1,000 to 3,000 rounds out of a 6mm Creedmoor. I say that because, so I would go with 6mm because I would use it for like competitions and things like that. And the reality is, how many barrels are you really going to use? How many rounds are you going to put through it? Are you going to shoot 1,000 rounds through it? Maybe. But at the same time, not in 6 months. So if you shot 1,000 rounds every 2-3 years, get a new barrel. Matter of fact, I would get 2 barrels anyways. I would shoot them both, all right? See which one shoots better out of the 2. I would put that barrel up, and then I would have the other one in my gun for training with. And then if you ever had to go to that big match where they had like real prize money on the table, then you swap barrels, re-zero it, confirm your data, and go on to the competition like that. That's some good coffee. Eric, you're the man. You're the man. All right. Let's do the last one here, guys. We're gonna wrap this up. Mike Oxlong, 5 bones. If you had your choice between 300 blackout and 5.56, both 16-inch barrel for home defense, what would you do? 16-inch barrel. Home defense. 16-inch. I would, if I was using it just for home defense, I'd go 300 blackout. It's a bigger projectile. You're hitting with more mass. All right, you're still going to get your secondary cavitation if you're shooting supersonic rounds, but you're hitting it with more mass. All right, if you're going to run subsonic rounds because you're running a suppressor or something like that, you need more mass than 5.56. I like frangible ammo for home defense. Oh, frangible ammo sucks, Carl. Hear me out. I'm not saying for your truck gun. I'm not saying for on the battlefield. But frangible ammo is specialty ammo. Think of it like for the SEALs that are hitting a ship. All the steel bulkheads on a battleship. You go in and shoot. You miss the guy. Those bullets start ricocheting around. It becomes a food processor. That's not good for your hostage, by the way. All right, so frangible ammo, awesome. Okay, same thing for home defense. I don't need my rounds going through 7 layers of drywall. You know, I don't, the 2 walls going in the bathroom, the other side of the bathroom, into the living room, and then hitting. I'm not worried about hitting a family member because I know where my kids are in the house. All right. I need to be able to get through some drywall, and frangible ammo will do something and disintegrate. I need it to hit the body and immediately open up to a softball inside the guy. You understand? You hit a guy with 3 rounds real quick, a quick zipper drill, 3 rounds. Look down at your chest and visualize 3 softballs full of non-viable tissue inside your chest. Even if I miss your heart, non-viable tissue, in other words, the surgeon has got to cut all of that tissue out. Imagine 3 of them, softballs, inside your body. Yeah, frangible ammo is awesome. My truck gun, I run M855A1. It's good ammo. It's barrier blind. It will go through car doors, windshields, everything. But in the house, I like varmint ammo, like your Hornady VMAX. Thin jacket designed to go in and blow up in that groundhog. Same thing. I want it to go into the perpetrator and blow up. Or good tactical frange. All right, guys, that's going to be our last question for the night. I love you guys. You know I do. I encourage everybody to if you're interested in taking classes, our calendar is up for 2023. TacticalRifleman.com. Our March classes, I don't have any classes in February. We are filming late February. March classes just starting to, I'm about half fill on some of them, but there's still plenty of slots there. April classes still wide open. I think I'm not even half full on tactical precision rifle. That's in May. And then you pick the dates that you're open. Guys, I'm sorry Steve Holland never rolled in. I miss having Steve here as much as you guys do. All right, so if you guys are watching this after the fact, if you've got ideas for videos, things like that, you've got comments about our courses, leave them in the comment section under this video. I don't come to TR Live as often as I do Tactical Rifleman. Tactical Rifleman, all the comments, guys, come straight to my phone. I don't even have YouTube on my phone, guys. I use what's called YouTube Studio right there. And I click on it. And literally, I have all my comments. And I just scroll through the comments, guys. And you'll see, I do read all your comments. I do. I read all your comments on Tactical Rifleman. Here on TR Live, I try to come back a little bit after the live stream to see if you guys left anything constructive. All right, so I do read them. Again, I encourage everybody to come hang out with us next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is the 14th of July, Valentine's Day. It's also Randy Worth's birthday. We're doing it at the Redneck Riviera in Nashville. Everyone's invited at no cost to get in. Literally, John Rich is going to be there. A VP from Henry Rifles, Barry Duke, VP from Surefire, is going to be there. I got some other VIPs that are going to be there, but for me, the biggest VIP, Randy Worth. It's his 70th birthday. Can you believe that American legend is going to be 70 years old? He was here Sunday. We shoot every Sunday, 2 p.m. after church, and Randy still did awesome. He does all the drills. It's funny because we compete against each other. Everybody else just they're just happy to be there. But me and Randy, we have this rivalry. It's just friendly rivalry. But it's fun to compete against a actual American legend. And it's awesome that he says he looks up to me, which is just hilarious. It is hilarious that he actually thinks I'm somebody. I consider myself blessed that I have Randy Worth in my life. You guys should be too, because he's only going to be with us another 20, 30 years, maybe 40 years. He'll probably make 110, probably will. All right, so anyways, next week I'll see you guys back. Again, I want to thank our sponsor, Tuckit. You can check out their foldable kayaks at foldupkayaks.com. They got some good deals. I've got a review video coming out on it. I've been messing with it. I have. And I've been wanting to get into it, but it was 32 degrees outside and the river was 34 degrees. Nah, if I'm going to flip it, and let's not do it. That my son don't want to go out and film it. So I'm going to let it warm up a little bit, but it is going to get filmed. Tuckit foldable kayaks. Good stuff indeed. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. And yeah, right? We've had a good night. I think we have. Right? You guys, what do you guys think? We've had a good live stream. I think we have. Right? So next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I think I've covered everything we needed to cover tonight. I want to thank all you guys for all the great questions. I want to thank the guys that made the small contributions to the preservation of Carl Erickson Foundation. That super chat money will be well spent. It will indeed. I do appreciate the support from all you guys, especially my patrons. Yeah, I appreciate all my patrons for sure. You guys y'all take care and shoot straight.
Coming right there. Coming right there. Coming right there.